Hello, brothers and sisters. I want to start off by letting everyone know I love you all unconditionally, even if I do not know you personally. You are all a reflection of God, and I am no different, so you are a reflection of me. And with that understanding, how can I not love myself? A very good friend of mine wanted me to share some of the knowledge that has been passed on to me by other enlightened beings. Today's topic, I would like to talk about crystal, gems, and noble metals, and how they affect us spiritually, scientifically, and economically. Crystals are silicon-based, gems are silicon-based, and most metals are silicon-based. And I would like to start off by going into the science behind this. Crystals and gems, they generate their own energy. And believe it or not, they are conscious. And this leads a lot of scientists nowadays to actually go back and rethink what is the definition of life. And this is fact, this is verifiable. Everything I'm telling you is verifiable information. You can look it up yourself. All electronics contains gems, crystals, or noble metals because they can generate their own energy and they can be programmed. And every single jewelry or gem that you have at home should and can be programmed. And you do this by either praying or meditating, and you keep a certain emotion or thing that you want to come through. For example, if you wish for love, you meditate and you pray for love, and you program that stone for love. Empowerment, financial prosperity, healing, and mental focus. Those are just a few examples of what you can actually program your gems, crystals, and noble metals to accomplish for you in life. And it seems like most Western societies have a problem with the notion that crystals are conscious and they can be used for our benefit. But it seems like the rest of the world is already ahead of us in this aspect. Like, for example, in Russia, Russian officials, I'm talking about very connected people, very influential people. These people are educated. They're top of their institutes. They're physics professors. They're officials of defense programs. What they have done is they have done research into sacred geometry and crystals and silicon base, and they have constructed over, I think it's 18 pyramids in Russia, and they have done research for many decades to see the benefits for biological and non-biological objects. And their research has shown that there's many health benefits, there's many psychological benefits, and even it protects the integrity of a lot of non-biological things, like buildings, schools, different things like that are not biological. And that's something to actually look into. And they've done the research. You can check this out online. Russian officials construct pyramids. You could just type it in and you could figure it, you could find it out. That's just one example of how, our Western culture is being left behind. Even scientists in Japan have experimented with crystals in the form of water. There was one scientist who took 2 containers of water. He wrote on one container, "I love you," and projected love onto that container. And when he crystallized and froze the water, the result was beautiful. It was a masterpiece of art. The crystals were beautiful. And then on another bottle, he wrote, "I hate you," and projected hate onto it. And when that water froze, it froze very, very ugly. It was not beautiful, it was not pretty to look at. But, those are solid evidence that, a lot of people will try to overlook. But you can't overlook something when it's right in front of your But that's just a few things about, a few scientific facts about what I'm talking about: gems, crystals, and noble metals. But there's plenty more stuff out there, and I can't cover this all in just one video. Okay. The next thing I would like to talk about is crystal, gems, and noble metals in society. Okay, one of the most asked questions I've ever heard about in history, ever since I was a little boy, is why do women live longer than men? Okay, now this is going back thousands and thousands of years. Men usually do not have as much jewelry on them as women. Women have always kept jewelry on their persons for thousands of years. And this is another scientific research that a lot of Western cultures tend to try to ignore. And, that is one of the main reasons why women live longer than men. Is because they keep their connections to their crystals, gems, and noble metals. Whether if they know they're conscious or not, it's irrelevant because it still helps them. And you can see royalty and kings and queens, they always have jewelry on them. They always have some sort of gold, platinum, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, gems, all that stuff. They always keep it on their person at all times. And, in the history books, the Mayas, the Aztecs, they thought as precious metals, crystals, and gems as something for everybody to use as their benefit. Actually, in the Mayan Aztec culture, they valued vegetables more as an economic commodity than gems, gold, and crystals. Shy seeds were mostly used for economic value rather than gems, crystals, and noble metals, because those were things that were common to people like air and water. Now, what I would like to talk about is, just some of the spiritual leaders that we have. And not just spiritual leaders. If you look at most leaders that we have right now, they tend to be very iced out. Like, for instance, you can actually just type in, you can Google the Pope's name. Just look at any image of the Pope and you'll see that he is iced out. He has gold, diamonds, jewels, emeralds everywhere. And that's because of the spiritual value that gems, nobles, and precious metals have. Priests, they usually carry around a crucifix that's gemmed out. Rabbis, they also wear jewelry. Shamans, no matter what part of the world that you're in, you will always see a spiritual leader or a leader possess some sort of jewelry or noble metal or gems. And don't even get me started on American pastors. They're more iced out than rappers. Okay, now I would like to talk about the economic value of crystal, gems, and noble metals. In Western culture, that is the only value that most of us put on these things. But the value of these gems, crystals, and noble metals go far, far deeper. Just like you are meant for more than just a 9 to 5. And this is evident because most people, as a whole, we are very depressed. And because we're not meeting our full potential. Because we are meant for more in life. And when you start to put things in perspective, most people nowadays, their goal in life is money. But that is not a goal. Money is simply a tool. And if you put too much emphasis on the tool, you will never be able to build your house. How can you build your house if you love the nails and you don't want to use the nails, you don't want to destroy the nails, how can that work? It can't. And on top of all else, money is a monetary system. That means it's a number. And numbers go on forever. So if you're trying to find your happiness through money, your search will go on forever, and you will never find happiness, and it will never end. Now, what I would like to do is just, I'm not home right now. I'm actually out, but I do bring some of my crystals with me, and they do give me some sort of, guidance, spiritual, mental, and a couple other things. And all crystals actually have different characteristics, and even if they're the same type of crystal, if they're from different parts of the world, they have different characteristics. Now, I'll show you a couple of my gems and my crystals. This right here, this is a tiger stone. This is meant for empowerment and financial gains. This is the power stone, and you can program it for it, or you can program it for anything else that you want. But this is the stone that's mostly related to, if you ever hear anybody talk about chakra, this is mostly related to the third level of chakra, the tiger stone, the empowerment stone. Now this is a rose quartz Merkaba stone. It's sacred geometry. When you talk about sacred geometry, there's shapes in the universe that have a sacred value to them. They're naturally spiritually inclined. And this is rose quartz. And rose quartz is a crystal of love. You can program this for love or anything else that you want. But if you take a closer look inside, they have other crystals, copper, metal, and you have some wood clippings. This is what you would call organite. It is more than just a crystal. It is a tower buster. These things break up, radio waves, Wi-Fi waves, and deadly, DOR, deadly organ waves, anything that could cause you bad health. These things can break up if it's on a wavelength. And these two are different in shape, but they do the same thing, even though that they're different in color. They're also organite. This one is tourmaline, and this one is comprised of a couple different crystals, as you can see. Crystals, metals, and wood shavings. It's just a couple. I'll be doing another video on crystals later down the line. And I have my quartz, I have garnet, and these things can actually be programmed for whatever you want to program them. But thank you for joining me, guys, and I appreciate, I would appreciate any support. Please like my video, and I hope to be doing more. Thank you.